Love them or hate them, you can't get away from them. What am I talking about? NFTs, of course. Welcome to the Daily Forkast, April 7th, 2022. I'm Angie Lau, Editor-in-Chief of Forkast, covering all things blockchain. Well, victims of last month's massive Ronin hack can breathe a sigh of relief as the Vietnamese gaming studio Sky Mavis has raised $150 million in efforts to compensate them. And that move has sent sales of Axie NFTs from its hugely popular Axie Infinity game soaring. We're going to take a look at that story, plus a whole lot more coming up. Let's get you up to speed from Asia to the world.
Join thousands of NFT traders who already start their day on CryptoSlam.
Well, as we said, it's a big day for NFT-related news, so let's kick off in China, where there's been a call for regulations of NFTs. China's Communist Party-backed newspaper, The Economic Daily, has published an opinion piece calling for tighter regulation. The article says NFTs should be seen as a fintech product with community, currency, and securities features, rather than as a cultural and creative commodity. It goes on to suggest that the introduction of a sandbox mechanism and putting NFTs under close observation of regulators would be a viable approach. Now, unlike cryptocurrencies, NFTs have not been banned in China, though they are now often called digital collectibles in response to previous criticism in state media over the NFT hype. The article reiterates that criticism as well as highlighting concerns over the operation of resale markets. Now, China's tech giants have already put in self-regulatory measures, with WeChat shutting down a number of marketplace accounts last week, and Alibaba banning resales before an NFT has been held for 180 days. Now, despite all these harsh words, the NFT space is still a hotspot for many, with prices for digital collectibles issued by the state-owned Shanghai Securities News soaring in second-hand trading back in February. Meanwhile, the long wait is over for many NFT fans hoping for cheaper transactions. In a tweet, the world's largest NFT marketplace, Opensea, said that Solana NFTs can now be traded in beta mode. The marketplace explained that during beta mode, they will collect feedback to improve the Solana experience, adding that 165 collections are already supported, with more to be added every day. But this much-awaited development comes amid an overall slowdown in the NFT market. Data from CryptoSlam shows NFT sales are down by at least 25% within the 24 hours to Thursday morning Asia time. And though NFT sales often go up as they are effectively cheaper when the crypto market goes down, the crypto market is also in the red today. More to come on that market action later in the show. You can find those stories and more at Forkast.News. Now to some good news for players of the massively popular play-to-earn game Axie Infinity. The Vietnamese gaming studio Sky Mavis has raised $150 million to reimburse users affected by the Ronin validator hack last month. And the move has resulted in a massive spike in sales for Axie NFTs. Forkast's Danny Park tells us more.
There's definitely a light at the end of the tunnel for victims of last month's massive hack on the Ronin chain where the Axie Infinity game runs. Affected users can now expect reimbursement from the game's maker, Vietnamese gaming studio Sky Mavis, as the company announced a $150 million fundraising round led by Binance to offset the losses from the hack. Other participants in the funding round include Hong Kong-based Animoca brands Andreessen Horowitz, Dialect, Paradigm, and Excel. Sky Mavis says it will reopen the Ronin network bridge after several weeks of thorough audits and a security upgrade, while Binance will provide ETH withdrawal and deposit services for Axie Infinity users. And to boost user confidence, Binance CEO Changpeng Zhao says validator set will be expanded from 5 to 21 validators to ensure the security of the Ronin network. That's after analysis of the attack found that the small number of validators for the network had left it vulnerable. The exploit on Sky Mavis's Ronin and Axie DAO validator nodes resulted in the drainage of 173,600 Ethereum and 25.5 million USDC. And according to data from CryptoSlam following the announcement, sales volume for the game's Axie NFTs surged by over 350% in the last 24 hours to Thursday morning, Asia time. For Forkast, I'm Danny Park.
Over in the broader market now, after a strong performance in March, Bitcoin has taken a stumble, falling over 4% to Thursday morning Asia time, even as crypto enthusiasts are gearing up for the Bitcoin 2022 conference in Miami. Forkast's Pradipta Mukherjee takes a look at what's driving all the market action.
Bitcoin made solid gains throughout the month of March, which carried on into early April, but it fell overnight and was trading at a little over the $43,000 mark as of Thursday morning in Asia. The turnaround followed the release of the US Federal Reserve minutes, where officials discussed their plans for shrinking the Fed's balance sheet. That involves reducing the balance by $95 billion a month, and that weighed on risk assets globally, including Bitcoin. And Bitcoin wasn't alone in the crypto space. Ethereum, Terra, Solana all mirrored it, while Dogecoin fell almost 12%. One expert says investors have been surprised at how aggressive the Fed's roadmap is.
Previously, when they've started doing this, they've been somewhat timid and then had to reverse, but had very little ammunition to reverse with. So they're going to be quite aggressive to start with, just in case they need to unwind some of it. Adding to that, the situation with Shanghai being in lockdown still, and that's worrying people, not just about the growth in China, but also about the impact that has on supply chains for a lot of other Asian countries. And that at the end of the day will make people really look at the risk rewards of the investments that they're holding.
However, Ben Caslin of crypto exchange AAX thinks investors should not be overly concerned because occasional downturns and rallies are of little significance. Caslin says the overall fundamentals for Bitcoin are in good shape, and that a shift in sentiment could see a quick price recovery. Meanwhile, over in Miami, the largest annual gathering of crypto enthusiasts, Bitcoin 2022 is now underway, where the city's mayor, Francis Suarez, has called for a pro-Bitcoin president to take office. Tony Sycamore of City Index told Forkast that despite the hype over Bitcoin 2022, the inescapable truth is that Bitcoin remains a risk asset and that the current risk backdrop is making things increasingly tenuous for both equities and cryptocurrencies. For Forkast, I am Pradipta Mukherjee.
And that's the Daily Forkast. And now you don't need to search for us. The Daily Forkast is being delivered straight to your inbox. Sign up at Forkast.News/newsletters. Thanks for watching. I'm Forkast Editor-in-Chief Angie Lau. Until the next time.